Everyone, welcome to our Wednesday Night Live. I'm a little out of sorts today. My beard isn't shaved. Apologize, my hair isn't done. It's been a wild week. As you guys know, I had surgery and a knee surgery that's recovering really well. And we just released the book, Character, so that's coming out. If you're new to the group, welcome. My name is Britton Latula. Character was released just yesterday. Character, probably the most important, guys. And out of all the books that we're going to do, Character is going to be the most important. Character is the book that's really that affects who your kid is and their relationship with God and all of that stuff. So I would say that's the most important. If our kids achieve nothing but they have great character, that's phenomenal. That's enough. We want more for them, but that is enough. Okay, so hopefully you guys read the article below. Tonight I actually want to talk about character, and then I want to kind of lead into this next book. It's way too early, but some things are changing really rapidly. The conversation in the country, things are going crazy. It's actually heating up, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I want to talk about the next character, and then I want to bridge the gap to the next book. The next book is Power, and we've been taught for so long. It's like drilled into us. The most famous quote of Power is, "Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely." And we've been taught for so long that power itself is a bad thing. I think especially Christians, and so a lot of us shun away from that. And we like character, we like education, but we're afraid to dabble in power. We don't pursue power. I think that's a huge mistake. I think that if you have strong character, if you give your kids strong character, great education, but strong character, godly character, and you don't empower them, you're setting them up for a lot of pain in life. And it's still a good thing. I mean, I still think that pain is a blessing. I'd rather suffer, even martyrdom, is a godly man than conform to the enemy, become a bad person, become part of the world. And maybe it's more pleasant in the time, but I'd still rather have character. But power is important too. And you go back in time, like when the time of Constantine, that was a huge blessing. That was the greatest persecution prior to Constantine coming to power that the Christians had ever seen. It's not Nero, it's the Diocletian persecution. They are just slaughtering. They just want to wipe the Christians out. They feel like Rome has lost its way because they've wandered from the pagan gods, and they're seeing this new faith take hold in Rome, and they're blaming it for a lot of the problems, and they're like, we just have to eradicate this or we'll be no more. It'll consume us. And they were right. Eventually Christianity did consume Rome, but they went on a last-ditch effort to just wipe the Christians out. Great persecution. And then thankfully a man of power, a godly man of power, steps into the scene. That is Constantine. And he wins a mighty battle against Emperor Maxentius. And he actually, restores Christendom throughout the Roman Empire, and he makes it an official religion of Rome. And then, of course, is baptized himself. When godly men have power, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And so many Christians have shied away from power that we're living in an oppressive time because there are very few godly men with any power. And that includes Trump to some extent. God bless him. I think he means well. I'm still on his team, but we need more than that at some point. So today I just want to talk about that. So we are entering a new phase. I don't know what's going to happen with the president not conceding. We are seeing levels of persecution that's just, we never could have fathomed. I mean, Facebook now has algorithms looking for people like me, looking to shut us down, to silence us. Same things going on YouTube and Twitter and basically every outlet that we can talk to you guys. We are on the enemy's platform. It's just a matter of time before they find us out. If we get big enough, I assume that they would might put an end to this site. So I wanted to introduce a concept of keeping your character, keeping your integrity in times of great persecution. This was taught to me when I went to SEER school back in the military. SEER school is where they train you to, literally it's the ultimate persecution. You're in the enemy's hands. You're in a POW camp. The enemy can do anything he wants to you, and he hates you. Many times he hates you. He can torture you. He can abuse you. He can manipulate you. He can do anything he wants to you. You are literally in the enemy's hand. And how do you deal with that? And so many people, and I think we love the idea of martyrdom. We love the idea of Johnny Rambo just going toe-to-toe and not giving them an inch, refusing every order and just taking the beatings and all that stuff. But the funny thing is when you got to SEER school, they said, that approach, it'll get you killed the first day. And really, if your other men and stuff are counting on you, it's not a good approach. If everybody follows your lead, they'll all get killed. So how do you survive in the enemy's hand? Well, there's two principles, and one is Johnny Rambo. We will die on this hill. We will not cooperate. We just resist all the way. And the die on the hill is a military concept. It's like we're staking the banner here, and we won't give an inch. It's victory or death. But when you have no power, when you're so overwhelmed, it just is martyrdom, and sometimes it's totally futile. So that's one concept. You can be Johnny Rambo and just fight with everything you have, and just, if you have no power, you're going to be annihilated. The second principle is called bend, don't break. And this is something I want to teach to my kids. It's so important. It's not compromising. It's not like you go to the Roman temple and you offer some incense to the god, but you don't really mean it. I mean, that is actually compromising your beliefs. You failed. You failed the character test. That's not what we're talking about. When we talk about bend, don't break, we are talking about picking our battles. So again, in that military sense, SEER school, right? You have Johnny Rambo and you have this guy, I'm going to introduce Johnny Rambo. Everybody knows who that is. That's a fictional character. And basically they torture him and he's just like, it's Rambo. He doesn't care, and then eventually he breaks out of his bonds and he kills everybody and it lives happily ever after. That doesn't usually happen. That's Johnny Rambo's approach, okay? There's another guy, a real guy, his Colonel Nick Rowe. He was a Vietnam War vet. He was a Green Beret. We nicknamed him Nasty Nick because the obstacle course there at selection and going through the Green Beret course was Nasty Nick, named after this guy. But anyway, so Nick Rowe is captured. He's a POW. Does he join their side? Does he work? Start all of a sudden working and cooperating with the enemy? Of course not. But he doesn't act like Johnny Rambo. He doesn't button up his lip and just refuse orders. He seems to be cooperating. He's being strategic about what he's doing. And he actually makes up a story. They interrogate him, and instead of getting electrocuted, beaten, and all this horrible stuff, right, every day, he tells them everything they want to know. He's not telling the truth. He's making up a story. He tells them that he's an engineer, and they believe it. They start to build this great rapport. And he's bending. He's not breaking. He's still resisting, but he's not going toe-to-toe with a guy that can kick your teeth in, and you have no power, right? So that's the principle of bending. Now, in the end, it's a sad story because he ends up having to basically be Johnny Rambo. That's why he's so famous, Nick Rowe. Look him up. Eventually, they publish a story in an American newspaper. The media is always so smart. They post a story. He's like on the front cover, and it's like Green Beret, Special Forces, blah, 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 Nick Rowe, Colonel Nick Rowe. And all of a sudden, they realize that Nick Rowe has lied to them. He's been resisting them, and they beat him so bad and they say they're going to come back, I guess. It's been a long time, long story. They're going to kill him. And so he has to Johnny Rambo up, and it's do or die. I believe he kills both of his guards, and he escapes and travels like barefoot, like 30 miles or something into the jungle, and somehow he actually makes it out of there. So he is Johnny Rambo, and he's the principle of bend, don't break, I guess. But it's that principle of bend, don't break. When you're in a POW camp, they can do anything to you. You resist. You don't necessarily make that last stand on the hill. So what does that mean for us? Dying on the hill is being a martyr. It's being a kamikaze. That's great. I think we respect that more, and we appreciate that more. This seems cowardly, but it's not cowardly. Think of bending, not breaking, like guerrilla warfare. Instead of putting the flag in the ground and saying, it doesn't matter what the odds. There's 10 million soldiers coming at us. There's 10 of us. We're going to die on this hill. You say, hey, we're going to continue to fight, but we're going to have to hide and conduct guerrilla warfare operations. Okay, it's an overwhelming force, right? So we're going to conduct guerrilla warfare operations. We don't compromise our belief. We continue to struggle and continue to resist, but with the power we have. So hopefully that makes sense. So what does that mean for us? Well, right now we are on Facebook. We're in the palm of the enemy. They haven't discovered us yet. They haven't gotten to us. They're dealing with those Johnny Rambos on Facebook and kicking them off. But there's certain topics we can't actually cover on Facebook. And this has been a real struggle for me. Part of me says, you know what? I'll say what I want. I have a right. I'm speaking the truth. My audience has a right to hear it. That's definitely that military part of me, that Johnny Rambo part of me. And then the other side says, what does it matter if I get kicked off and I lose my audience, I can no longer speak to them? Did that serve our purpose better? So, there's going to be things I'll never say. I'll never actively promote certain things like certain anti-Christian beliefs or something like that on Facebook, but I may have to avoid certain topics on Facebook because I don't think the censorship is going backwards. And right now, I don't have another platform to talk to you guys. We are rapidly building it, okay? That's the guerrilla warfare. We are rapidly building our own platform. But I can't compete with Facebook right now. But on Blue Manor Academy, that is coming. It should be coming this year. And then we can have our own private group, and I can say whatever I want. We can speak the truth openly, okay? That day is coming. But for now, that part of that bend, don't break principle is that we have to be careful what we say if we want to stay on this platform. Now, that said, too, that's why it's so important to teach your children about power, and that is the next book. Power is not a bad thing. It's a great thing in the right hands. God is all powerful, so power isn't inherently evil. And I actually, in this next book, I address that myth that has been perpetuated so long. I think it was Lord Action. Who said, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. I don't think so, actually. I have a different theory about that. I don't think this power necessarily corrupts you. If you look at people with power like the cops or something like that, like they have more power than the criminals on the street, right? But criminals on the street are very corrupt. They're some of the most violent people, right? So you have democracy, right? There's less power, limited government. Do you feel empowered? We pay more taxes under a democracy than we did under a monarchy. So that whole notion, you can't live and die on that notion of power, that you have to resist power, stay away from power. Power itself is evil. We need powerful Christians, and that next book is all going to be all about combining character. You form that perfect character in your kid, hopefully that powerful legion of virtues in your kid, and then you combine it with real power, and then we can start making a difference. So as you saw, my dad, he's a doctor in Oregon. He kind of died on that hill. He took a stand. I think it's great. I think it inspires people, and I think it was right for him to do. But he did take that stand. He's taking a lot of heat right now. He's lost his medical license in Oregon, and that's what's making me think about this conversation today is like, what are we going to do in the meantime? This oppressive force continues to push us down. What do we do? And so for now, I'm scrambling as fast as I can to build a platform for all of us, and then we can move over there, say whatever we want, and build a strong, powerful community. Okay, guys, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for your support with Character. A bunch of you guys have already bought it. Hopefully you guys are putting reviews in there for me. I know it takes a few days. You probably want to put the review in after you get the book, even if you've already kind of read the digital copy, because then it comes off as a verified purchase for me. It actually helps me a lot more. But guys, this is so important. This movement is so important to get this stuff out, because it's more important than ever. I mean, we are facing pressure like never before in history. The temptations and the persecution our kids are undergoing right now is like nothing was seen before in history. I mean, it's gotten worse, like in the times of Rome, the persecution part we'll say, but I mean the temptation where literally anything is a mouse click away, and all of the TV is propaganda, and all of it is filth, and there's just so much pressure to conform. This character book is essential. You have to have it. Somebody thought it was maybe for little kids. Actually, it's not. It's just the little girl on there, because I love that contrast of that little girl and yet that idea that she has this lion of character inside of her. This is a book for parents. Hopefully you got that. I don't know how I didn't communicate that properly, but this is a book for parents. It's going to show you how to form in your kids an unshakable, powerful, great character. So I highly recommend it. And then I'm going to write Power as fast as I can. I'm going to get that out to you. That is a powerful book. That is where we start to turn the tables. Instead of preparing our kids for martyrdom because they have such strong character, we put the tools of power into their hands, and they can start to take the reins back, and they can start to take the high ground back. And then maybe we can kind of come out of the shadows again and actually start to take ground in this country for Christ and the church. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I will talk to you next week. Hopefully no blood clots, and my leg keeps healing up. And I want you to know I'm working really hard on my end. I'm writing these books for you. I'm building the curriculum. I'm putting a lot of money where my mouth is. And I really appreciate your guys' support, even just commenting in the videos and comments and likes, buying the book, reviewing the book for me. I appreciate it. It's a team effort. And in these trying times, we're going to have to come together as a team. There's got to be loyalty that kind of keeps the group alive together in the movement. So thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you next week.